there, very good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini Channel I. I'm Shra Masclinius.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Minipurharachi and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
President praises the 24-hour vaccination process. Sri Lanka remains at the top in the global vaccination drive. A new COVID-19 outbreak emerges from Wuhan, China. The budget set to resolve the issue pertaining to school principals and teachers. A national radio channel dedicated for education. A new world record in men's 400 meters hurdles.
On to those and other stories now, and starting off with local stories. A total of 174,985 persons have received the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine yesterday under the COVID-19 immunization program. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa made an observational visit to the vaccination centre established at the Vihara Mahadevi Open Air Theatre in Colombo last night. The centre, which is being operated by the Sri Lanka Army, is open 24 hours a day. A large number of people visited the vaccination centre yesterday to receive the second dose of AstraZeneca vaccine. The President, who visited the centre last night, engaged in cordial discussions with the people at the venue. President Rajapaksa thanked all members of the health and security services who are committed to making the vaccination program a success. Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Major General Dr. Sanjeeva Munasinghe, and Commander of the Army, General Shavendra Silva, were also present at this occasion. The vaccination process at the centre established at the Vihara Mahadevi Park premises was conducted successfully today. Sri Lanka Army also organised a musical show at the premises for the mental health of the people who have visited the centre to receive the vaccine. Inoculation of the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine to those who had received the first dose of the same vaccine in the Western Province has been carried out since August 1st. A total of 244,251 persons have received the second dose thus far. Provision of the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine is taking place in 77 vaccination centres in the Western Province until the 6th of this month. The administration of second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine at the Theatre Uhina premises in Battaramulla was commenced yesterday. The vaccination centre, operated under Sri Lanka Army, is open 24 hours a day. Many people have arrived at the centre to receive the relevant vaccines. A musical show organised by the Sri Lanka Army was also held at the premises. The vaccination process was successfully conducted today as well. Facilities were provided to vaccinate people arriving to the centre with various difficulties in their own vehicles. Meanwhile, the provision of the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine was also held successfully at the Bandaranaike Memorial International Conference Hall premises in Colombo. The inoculation of the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine is being carried out at the Minivangoda MOH office for the people of the relevant division. The administration of the second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine was commenced yesterday at the vaccination centre of the people in Babopitiya, Bosella and Thiembrapena Gramaridahari divisions belonging to Kegol MOH divisions was conducted today. 12,758,216 doses of vaccines have also been so far inoculated on people under the COVID-19 immunization program. 22,981 persons have received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine yesterday. 174,985 persons have received the second dose of the same vaccine yesterday. 235,015 persons have also received the first dose of the Sinopharm vaccine yesterday. The number of those who have received the second dose of the same vaccine yesterday was at 18,483. The Moderna vaccine has been delivered to 2,490 persons yesterday. In the last 7 days, 2,797,107 doses of vaccines have been delivered to the people. A total of 422,472 persons were administered with the COVID-19 vaccines yesterday. The percentage of persons received at least one dose of a vaccine of the population more than 30 years of age has increased to 89.66. At least one dose of vaccine has been given to 94.06 in the Gampaha district, 87.37% in the Kaludra district and 83.28% in the Colombo district. The health division say more than 75% of the vaccines has been delivered to the people in 14 districts, namely the district of Gaul, Mathura, Hambantota, Kurunagala, Polannaruwa, Kandy, Mathale, Nuwara Eliya, Ratnapura, Badulla, Ampara, Batiklo, Trincomalee and Vena. Sri Lanka continues to remain at the top in the global vaccination drive. Sri Lanka has also overtaken the rest of the world in the vaccination graph, as cited our world website. Ecuador and China remain at the second and third places respectively. The World Health Organization has praised the commitment of the President of Sri Lanka to control the coronavirus outbreak and towards the global inoculation program. In a tweet, Director General of the Global Health Agency, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, has extended his gratitude towards the commitment of the President, has mentioned that the World Health Organization will continue to work closely with the Sri Lankan government to end the pandemic.
1,406 COVID-19 patients were detected from the country today. 1,902 patients left hospitals today following recovery.
I just do not want to put blame on anyone at this point of time. I said that everything is relative. I'm telling again that in United States, they did not try to implement any mobility restrictions. Whereas in Sydney City, in Australia, even for a very low number, they locked down. So all these are relative things. So at this point of time, I think that we all have to be together. There is no point in blaming. And we all, as a nation, have to support each other and then to take maximum precautions to see. The responsibility is with all, because however much you say, the disease, there is a nature that people behave, and there is a time that you could keep them under lockdown. There's an amount that a country could afford. So there are many other complicated factors, so that we just do not want to comment to one side and to blame the other side.
The new ward complex at the Mullaeriyawa Base Hospital, built by the Sri Lanka Army for COVID-19 treatment, was handed over to the health authorities today. Sri Lanka Air Force Commander Air Marshal Sudarshana Patirana officially handed over the new complex to Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi. The new complex is equipped to treat 160 patients at once. Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardana and Director of the Mullaeriyawa Base Hospital Dr. Priyantha Karunaratne were present at this occasion.
And meanwhile, the Deputy Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemantha Herath, says that a thorough immunization process is being conducted in the country, as Sri Lanka has received a sufficient number of vaccines at the moment. He further added that necessary arrangements have been made to continue the inoculation process across the country.
At present, the immunization program is carried out at the maximum speed, and at the moment we have received sufficient number of vaccines to carry out this vaccination program. So therefore, especially those who are expecting the second dose of AstraZeneca vaccination are being given the vaccine at the moment. So I would like to urge the public that everyone will be getting their dose of vaccine on the due date, in the sense the planned date for this current program. So therefore, I would urge and request the public to be patient and wait until they are being called to get these vaccines, so that there will be no unnecessary rush or gathering of people, which has a risk of getting another cluster of COVID patients. And also, I would like to urge the authorities who are responsible for the provision of transport in Sri Lanka to look into the current problems everywhere. Complaints and the concerns are coming related to the overcrowding of transport vehicles, trains and buses. So I think they are efficient enough to manage this kind of thing, because they have been doing this for many decades, managing transport facilities. So they will be able to manage this without creating a room for the spread of disease by overcrowding the transport modes.
Police media spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana says that police have taken 94 persons into custody during the last 24 hours for violating quarantine regulations. Accordingly, a total of 53,030 persons have been arrested thus far for such violations.
We have arrested 94 suspects in connection with the offences of face mask, social distancing and violation of quarantine rules and regulations within a period of last 24 hours. Total number of 53,030 suspects have been arrested in connection with the same offences since the 30th of October 2020 to date, And in addition to that, 139 persons have been admonished and they have been sent back to their original places along with 65 vehicles as they were trying to cross the provincial border. In addition to that, 8,849 persons have been checked along with 4,433 vehicles at the entry and exit points of Western Province. We are conducting continuous roadblocks and mobile patrols across the country. So therefore, everyone should support us in order to maintain quarantine law situation in the country. And if a police officer is asking your ID or any other document in respect of your identification, kindly provide such documents to police officers, and everyone should adhere with quarantine rules and regulations all the time.
And meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa made an observational visit to the Army Headquarters complex at Akureyagota today, and President Rajapaksa launched the e-book version and declared open the operations room at the Army Headquarters during the visit. The President was received at the Army Headquarters by the Chief of Defence Staff, Army Commander General Shavendra Silva, and was accorded special military honours. Major General Nishant Manage explained the future plans of the Air Mobile Brigade. The Commander of the Army presented the commemorative souvenir and the book titled Towards a Dazzling Future, the Air Mobile Brigade 2021 to 2026, containing information about the brigade. President Rajapaksa launched the e-book version and declared open the operations room at the Army Headquarters. The President inspected a number of sites in the Army Headquarters premises, including the museum. After posing for a group photo with the Chief of Staff, the President left a note in the special guest book to mark his visit. Secretary to the President P.B. Jayasundara, Senior Advisor to the President Lalit Veeratunga, Defence Secretary Retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne and senior Army officials were also present at this occasion.
Minister Kalia Rambukwala says the present government has taken an honest effort to resolve the issue pertaining to school principals and teachers. Several remarks were shared during various media briefings, including the cabinet briefing today, over the school principals and teachers issue. Minister Kalia Rambukwala said that this issue has a long-standing history. He said that the Education Minister in the year 1994 managed to change the conditions in a positive manner. Accordingly, he said that a higher salary was provided for those who were in the teaching service. He said that the Salaries Commission in the year 1996 carried out discussions over a possible salary hike covering all fields and decided not to take any measures to increase the salaries of teachers since a salary increase had already taken place in 1994. However, he added that this issue continued to last until now since 1994 and it has become a complex issue. The minister said that following the creation of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, school principals in the education sector and those who represent other sectors stood by the party and engaged in many conversations and debates in this regard as one group during the period between 2015 and 2019. As a result, an indication was made in the policy statement of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, he added. However, the minister further said that the country was not faced with a global pandemic and an economic crisis at that point. He said that necessary measures would have been taken to resolve this issue if the country was in normalcy. He said that decisions related to this issue as well as salaries of the employees in the state sector and cost of living related issues will be made through the budget accordingly.
එකඟතාවයන් ගණනාවකට ආවයි. ඒ නිසා ඒ වැඩපිළිවෙල ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න අවංක කැපවීමක් වර්තමාන රජයට තිබ්බ නිසා තමයි ඒ පිළි අරගෙන මේ අවස්ථාවේදී සම්බන්ධව කතා කරන්නේ. මේ අවසනාවකට රට නොසිතූ ආකාරයට ආර්ථික වශයෙන් තාමත් අපහසුතාවයකට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ලෝකයේ හුඟක් රටවල් මේ වෙනකොට වැටුප 50% අඩු කරලා තියෙනවා. වරද සාක්ෂියත් එක්ක එකට එක්කාසුව මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල විසඳිය යුතුයි කියලා සිටින රජයකට එහෙම කටයුතු කිරීම සම්බන්ධව මම හිතනවා දෙපාරක් හිතන්නට ඕනේ. වර්තමානයේ ගත්ත තීන්දුව තමයි මේ ප්‍රතිපත්තිමය වශයෙන් පිළිගන්නවා මේ සම්බන්ධව කටයුතු කළ යුතුයි කියලා. හැබැයි ඒ වැඩපිළිවෙල අයවැයත් සමග අනිකුත් රජයේ සේවකයන්ගේ වැටුප් සම්බන්ධව සහ ජීවන වියදම් සම්බන්ධව ගන්නා වූ තීන්දුව වලට සමාන්තරව කිරීමට අවසාන වශයෙන් අපි තීන්දුවක් කරා.
Minister Professor G.L. Piri said that the behavior of the teachers while making such demands at a pandemic situation is unjustifiable for the children of poor families of the country. He said that the best solution for such unjustifiable act is to reopen the schools. The minister further said that the most important factor in reopening schools would be to inoculate the academic staff in schools. He said that a total of 241,000 persons are involved in the teaching service in the country. He added that 85% of the teachers have been inoculated with the first dose and the second dose will be provided from August 29th onward. The minister emphasized that the schools will be reopened gradually following the vaccination program. However, he said that the preparedness is necessary in this regard. Therefore, he requested the school principals and teachers to proceed with the measures to prepare the reopening of schools. He said that the relevant circular was presented for the benefit of the children.
තරාවට නෙමෙයි, බිය ගන්නවන්න නෙමෙයි, තර්ජනාත්මක ස්වරූපයකින් නෙමෙයි. ඒ දරුවන්ගේ යහපත සඳහා තමයි ඒ චක්‍රලේඛනය නිකුත් කරන්නේ.
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Podujana Educational Services Association lodged the complaint with the Criminal Investigation Department today. The complaint was lodged over alleged defamation claims made against President of the association, Wasantha Hanapangoda.
And the central bank report for the year 2020 was taken up for debate at the parliament today. Parliamentarian Anurukumar Disanayaka said that the content and the statistics cited in the central bank report has indicated that the country is drifting towards a severe economic crisis and a risk. He pointed out that the treasury earns revenue worth 482 billion yet has to make a debt installment worth 676 billion. He added that when the daily income of the government is at 4,000 million yet has to pay 5,650 million worth debt. He further said that the country's debt amount has increased by 3,300,000 million in the last 16 months. In response, State Minister Ajit Niwad Kabral said that many claim the government will not be able to pay debt for the year 2020. However, he added that the government is succeeding in making debt payments on time. He then said that many had claimed that the debt amount for the year 2021 will not be paid in full. However, he said that the government was able to make the necessary debt payment for this year as well. He further added that the government will successfully make the debt payment for the year 2022 and as well as 2023.
Police media spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana briefed on the ongoing investigations related to the death of the 16-year-old Ishalini, who worked as a domestic aide at the parliamentarian Richard Baduddin's residence.
Further investigations are being conducted in respect of the death of 16-year-old girl, a domestic servant of ex-minister Richard Baduddin. Yesterday, the investigation officers have recovered a sentence that is written on the wall of the room where the girl was accommodated at the minister's residence, and the sentence has been written in English with a Tamil meaning. It is en Sauku Karanam, the cause of death is the meaning of that sentence, and we have informed the officials of Government Analyst Department, and 4 officials from the Government Analyst Department visited the scene yesterday, and they have taken photographs in respect of the sentence on the wall. In addition to that, we have covered school textbooks and the school books used by the deceased when she was schooling, and we are going to send those school books with deceased handwriting to get clarification from the government analyst, the examiner of question documents in respect of the issue. And we are conducting further investigations into the death of the girl and we are expecting the expert panel report in respect of the second post-mortem. Accordingly, we can continue with further investigations. In addition to that, we have recorded 8 statements of the domestic servants who served as the domestic servants at the residence of ex-Minister Rishad Badruddin before the decease, and 2 women had expressed that they were sexually molested or harassed by the brother-in-law of ex-Minister Rishad Badruddin, and we are ascertaining evidence in respect of those 2 statements, especially collecting circumstantial evidence on the issue. Further investigations are being continued.
The attention of the government has been directed to the establishment of a national radio channel for primary, secondary and higher education and tertiary education. Speaking at the media briefing held today to announce the cabinet decisions, Minister ChannelEye Rupavahini said that the Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval for the relevant proposal. The Minister of Education and Mass Media and Information have planned to establish an island-wide radio education channel to address the educational disparities caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Accordingly, a channel among the existing channels belonging to Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation expected to be utilized to expedite the establishment of radio channel dedicated for education, as a certain time period will be taken to fulfill the necessary infrastructure. A Cabinet of Ministers has also granted approval to amend the compensation payment procedure for damages caused by the protected animals, including wild elephants. Leopards, bears, wild buffaloes, crocodiles and wild elephants are considered as protected wildlife. Accordingly, steps have been taken to increase the compensation payment for loss of life, persons with complete disability, partial disability or physical injuries, and for the house of property damages. A compensation payment has been increased from 500,000 rupees to 1 million rupees for a loss of life of a person with complete disability. Also, compensation payment for the persons with partial disability or physical injuries has been increased from 75,000 rupees to 150,000 rupees. Meanwhile, compensation for house and property damages caused by wild elephant attack has been increased from 100,000 rupees to maximum of 200,000 rupees. The relevant proposal presented by Minister C.B. Ratnayaka.
In other stories, Cabinet spokesperson Minister ChannelEye Rupavahini says amidst a global economic collapse, the government is continuously being cautious about balancing the economy while controlling the COVID-19 pandemic effectively and efficiently.
We need to strike a balance between rolling out the economy and then also having controls with regard to the COVID with the instructions from the health sector. So we do discuss every week. The President sits with the COVID committee. I think Dr. Ramesh Patirana, the Minister, also participates in that. There are a few others who are in the health, particularly in the health sector, and the other affiliated groups are there. So we take decisions collectively. Perhaps one might say, that would have been better or the other would have been better. But these are things that are taken collectively, taking into consideration the present situation. We need to generate income. We need to get back to normalcy. The whole world is working towards that. We are no exception. We are also looking at the same way, while giving enough cautious and then kind of taking all measures to see that pandemic is controlled to some extent and move on. And then we believe, and I believe that the whole world believes the same thing, that one way is to get out of this situation is the vaccination. In spite of the vaccination, one might argue, say, there are certain few cases, but the cases that are reported with both vaccines are less than 0.0001% or something, right, as of Sri Lanka. Other countries also, I think, are a similar thing. So the only way is the vaccination. So that is the drive that we have taken, and in that drive, we are right on top. In fact, we are proud to say that at one stage, as you know, the leader of the opposition and some other members of the opposition, first hour of the parliament was based on this, saying that the government has no money, government can't get, government has not replaced the orders on time, so on and so forth. But now all that has been proven wrong, that we are driving. In fact, we had 24-hour vaccination program, which was successful. We have given a total emphasis on the vaccine, and we are rolling it out quite effectively and efficiently. I think one of the most efficient rolling out are taking place in Sri Lanka, and everybody is commenting. In fact, WHO, Professor Malit Peris, they themselves are commented on our. So we are looking at the best solution has been recognized by the world over is the vaccination. So that has been given top priority, and we have not short of anything. Now next month also we get another 4 million. And by September, October, we believe that we may be able to get the both doses of the 13.5 million, which is 30 and above. And then we are now considering 18 and 13, which is about another 2.5 million. So basically, we are on one hand taking all necessary precautionary measures and all advice given by the entire world and the world community and the health sector as to how we control it. At the same time, we're looking on the other side now. Say we had few questions as to whether we are having restrictions on the foreign currency. We have a question of petroleum. We have a question of rupee account being sort of slashed down to less than 50%. Foreign exchange, main income is tourism, where we are having a serious problem. So we need to strike a balance. We can't go one way and then forget about the other, which we are quite successfully doing. Of course, unexpectedly, you can have various variants coming in. So you need to decide at the spot and we can envisage, we can plan out few things, but there are certain things which we cannot plan out. But we need to take decisions on the spot after seeing the situation and after sort of evaluating those new situations.
Parliamentarian Amarkirti Athukorla says that the government has taken steps to purchase paddy harvest for the farmers without a limit. He made these remarks while speaking at a media briefing held at the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna office today. Parliamentarian Amarkirti Athukorla said that the government, together with the Ministry of Agriculture, in the process to purchase paddy through 37 centres in Polonnaruwa district without a limit. Therefore, he said that inclusive of the transport fee, a kilo of nadu will be purchased at 51 rupees and 50 cents, a kilo of samba rice at a rate of 53 rupees and 50 cents, and a kilo of kheer samba at a rate of 56 rupees and 50 cents. He said that the government requests the farmers to provide their paddy stocks to the government stores belonging to Paddy Marketing Board. The financial provisions to purchase the paddy have been allocated through the treasury at present, the parliamentarian added. Purchasing of paddy in Polonnaruwa district is being carried out successfully at present. The Paddy Marketing Board is expected to purchase approximately 50,000 metric tons of paddy harvest and financial provisions worth 3,100 million rupees.
Chief incumbent of the Paskama Rajama Vihare and Deputy Chief Sanganayaka of the Pahata Heva Hatta of Askiriya chapter of Shamo Pali Vanchika Sek, Venerable Heva Vise Rajaguru Sri Siddhartha Ratanapala Srinivasa Bidanathera passed away. The final rites of the late Venerable Sri Siddhartha Ratanapala Thera will be held at the Heva Visa Junior School grounds at 3 p.m. tomorrow. The remains of the late Thero are kept at Paskama Rajama Vihare at present. Late Venerable Heva Vise Rajaguru Sri Siddhartha Ratanapala Thera was renowned as a bhikkhu who had rendered an immense service to the Sambuddha Sasana. That's a look at local news. Stay with us. Foreign news is coming up next.
And with that new world record in men's 400-meter hurdles in Olympic events, we are concluding tonight's news. Do just tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe. Good night.